So it's safe to say when it comes to metal drums that Ludwig is the one that everybody is trying to imitate but really can't. And there are two particular snare drums that come to mind, the Black Beauty and the Supraphonic. Well, in this Snare Saturday video, it is time to compare both models being the same size so you can hear the differences between them and decide which one best fits your needs. What's going on, everybody? Nick Costa here, and in this video I am going to be comparing a Ludwig 6.5x14 Black Beauty to a Ludwig 6.5x14 Supraphonic, also known as the LM402. The two staples in metal snare drums that are often imitated and never duplicated. You are going to get the opportunity to hear both of them back to back so you can determine which one you think sounds better. Now, before we dive into this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification. That way you're notified of any additional content that I upload to the channel. So you see this all the time. People are always asking, what is the greatest or best metal snare drum that I can buy? And you are always going to see these two drums pop up, the Ludwig Black Beauty and the Ludwig Supraphonic. Then, of course, you start seeing people dive a little bit deeper and say, well, yeah, the Supraphonic is better, but only if you're getting the brass version, which, mind you, is known as the Super Ludwig, which was the predecessor to the Supraphonic. And then you have other people who just swear by the Black Beauty because it is more expensive. Because again, it's a brass drum that's black nickel plated, so you know it's gonna cost a little bit more to put together. But at the end of the day, it's whatever the player's preference is. So if you're going after something that has a particular sound, one of those drums might not be that sound that you're going after. So in this video, you're gonna get the opportunity to hear both drums back to back through a few different tunings. That way you can decide which one might fit the sounds that you're going for, so then you know exactly which one to add to your collection. So let's talk about the specs of both drums. First off, starting with the Black Beauty. This is a 6.5x14 seamless black nickel over brass shell. And this particular Black Beauty most likely is from the mid-80s because, like I mentioned in the last Snare Saturday video, this drum was donated to one of my schools with a Ludwig classic drum kit. And based off of the giant triangle mounting brackets that are on that kit, it lines up to be somewhere from the 80s, maybe possibly the early 90s. Either way, this drum is outfitted with 10 imperial lugs, triple flange hoops on the top and the bottom, but I upgraded this drum and put a new Ludwig P88 AC throw-off on it because modern hardware, which is way more durable, and I don't have to worry about the snare wires coming loose as I play it. Finally, this drum was outfitted with a Remo CS dot coated head for the top and an Ambassador snare side head on the bottom. This drum is also outfitted with the Ludwig generic snare wires. Now for the Supraphonic, the LM402. Once again, this is a 6.5x14 shell, but this is a seamless chrome over aluminum shell. Just like the Black Beauty, this drum is outfitted with 10 double-sided imperial lugs, triple flange hoops on the top and the bottom. This drum was also updated with a Ludwig P88 AC throw-off and the same exact heads, which again is a Remo CS dot coated for the top and an Ambassador snare side on the bottom. Finally, this drum is also outfitted with a set of Ludwig generic snare wires. Now you may be asking yourself, why are you putting CS dot heads on these drums when I'm usually saying I love the Ambassador X coated instead? Both of these drums are going to be put into some of my schools. So one, I need a drum head that's going to be a bit more durable because we don't have the funds to replace these heads on a regular basis. And number two, my students usually like their snare drums to be a little bit tighter in tension, higher pitched, but they also like them to be super dry and direct. So these heads will allow them to get closer to that sound that they're going for. Now, just like every other Snare Saturday video, I'm going to play both drums through a few different tunings. I'm going to start out in a lower tuning and work my way up to a higher tuning. As I'm in each tuning, I will transition from one drum to the next. That way you can hear the differences between them. Now, the Ludwig Black Beauty does have an internal puck dampener, whereas the Supraphonic does not. So in this video, I will not be using that internal puck dampener. So you're going to hear both drums as wide open as they possibly can be with the current head configuration that they have. So enough of me talking, let's dive into playing. So it's safe to say that since both drums are made up of completely different alloys and have different finishes, you're getting different sound characteristics out of them. That doesn't mean that one is better than the other, they just sound different. And I would love to get your feedback and what you thought of each drum, so make sure that you leave that in the comment section below, letting me know. Also, if you want to see the Snare Saturday videos where I am showcasing each drum individually, I put links to those videos in the description below as well. Also, a link to the Snare Saturday playlist is in the description as well, and I'll also have it come up right here to make it a bit easier for you. Now, if you have any other additional questions on either drum, how I was tuning the drums, maybe even the gear that I am playing in this video, feel free to leave all of that in the comment section and I will try my best to answer them. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure that you give it a thumbs up. That way it makes it a little bit easier for others to find it. And that is it. Thank you so much for checking out this video on comparing the Ludwig Black Beauty to the Ludwig Supraphonic. And until next time, see you later.